All right, guys, I don't normally do this. I don't normally address comments, at least in a video like this. I've never done that. But here we are. I almost didn't even make this video. But I think it's important because a lot of people that genuinely support the channel and are members and this and that did leave a lot of similar comments. So I just want to address the video from Leatherman. So one, and I'm going to go through a bunch of things. And again, like I asked in the Leatherman video, please watch this all the way through because a lot of people did not watch the Leatherman video all the way through. So they really didn't get my genuine opinion or get to hear all the negatives that I did say. One, people, and I know this isn't the majority, but a lot of people saying like that, oh, I got paid for the video. I've never been paid by Leatherman. I don't even know Leatherman. This is the first product Leatherman's ever sent to me. In fact, I signed up to their affiliate program. I didn't even get the link yet. Like I signed up to it and it hasn't went through yet to give me the link yet. So I didn't even use that link in the video. I used Blade HQ. So that just goes to show that I expected 0 people to buy this or to even use it. But regardless, that's neither here nor there. But the point is that Leatherman's never paid me, and why would they pay somebody to talk bad about their heat treatment, say their knives are overpriced, and then discuss all the machining problems that I mentioned? Now, when I'm going through the video, I'm doing it in real time, right? So I'm giving you my opinion as I'm having them, right? I literally unboxed it. I had it a few minutes out of the box, got to check it out a little bit and then do the video. So in order for you to really get my genuine opinion, you kind of got to wait till the end because I'm putting it all together. And there were a lot of things, that, negatives by themselves to me are not that big of an issue. But when you add them all up, they are. And, that's up to you to listen and determine whether or not these issues, because if I mention one issue, if everything else was perfect, that issue would be like not that big of a deal. Right? But when you look at a bunch of other things and then in the end you find out, okay, well, there was like 10 things that were negative, right? You can put all those together and, assess the situation yourself. As far as the knife actually is, and this is the thing I was struggling with. The knife is actually a good knife. Like it genuinely is built pretty well. Or built very well. Like it has this feeling to it where you grab it and you feel it and you can feel that there was a lot of time and attention put into this thing. So when you see that, but then you have also these other little issues, it's kind of pulling you both ways, right? Because it's like on the one hand, you really like it, but on the other hand, it's like, these issues kind of make it a problem. But the price tag, it's overpriced, obviously, and if you listen to the video all the way through, like at first I was kind of like, I'm not really that mad at it. But then, in the end, I'm saying, yes, it's overpriced, especially the fixed blade. The fixed blade is absolutely overpriced. The folder is overpriced too, but I expect that from Leatherman, right? Because just their multi-tools, they have a multi-tool with magnet cut blades and a bunch of multi-tools, obviously made out of stainless steel, that's like $250. So this sits right where their other stuff is, right? So you kind of expect that price from them, right? And it said in the video, if you're gonna buy it, then that's what they can get for it. If you don't think it's worth it, don't buy it, right? And then they'll have to adjust or go back to the drawing board or whatever. I can't really determine that. I can tell you if I think it's overpriced or not. And, at first I was like, I'm not really mad at it because, I look at their other multi-tools. They obviously sell well. The people that are buying these are workers, right? Typically the people buying these are not buying a collection of knives. This is going to be like their pocket knife, right? And they're not going to probably have a bunch of other stuff. And that's going to be their tool that they're going to use day to day. And it's USA made and, all the other things. But yeah, as far as for the knife community, yeah, it's overpriced because you can get a Kershaw Bel Air for like $150 with the magnet cut and aluminum. Now, I do think a lot more machining went into this, and the steel is going to be harder to machine than the aluminum. However, the aluminum is, probably a little bit more expensive as far as material wise. But also the biggest part to me is the heat treatment, right? That to me, it was a big issue in the video. And if you watched to the end, you heard me bring that up, talk about it. And I even showed how I tried to remove the burr that came on the fixed blade and it was very difficult to do, right? And, if So if somebody was being paid, they're not going to be able to do, you know, things like that. But anyways, I know that's irrelevant. My point is just that you got to watch to the end of the video to hear my genuine opinion and to really get a grasp on exactly how I feel. But I'll just say it right here. Sorry, the camera's just sitting on the table. The knife is a good knife. There is a lot of love and attention that went into this thing, and I can absolutely feel that. I can feel that they genuinely put a good effort in. Overpriced? Yes, absolutely overpriced. A lot of their stuff's overpriced, right? You know, so yes, overpriced. Steel, probably soft, right? It's soft at the very least. It could have poor heat treatment. I'm not sure. I haven't sharpened them yet, but I can just tell based off of the burrs that are left on both knives and how difficult the one was to remove. And, you know, just it's indicators, right? I can't say that for sure, and I haven't, you know, really, because I could wind up putting it on the stone, sharpen the hell out of it, and it could sharpen out, and then I had to take back my words and say, well, it wasn't, you know, a poor heat treatment, it was just a burnt edge, which is a very possible thing, because obviously they're sharpening on belts, and obviously they didn't do a good burr removal, so maybe they're, you know, really heating up the edge. I don't know, but I can say at the very least that the burrs are left on the knives and are very difficult to remove. But I have zero reason to stick up for Leatherman, to say anything good about Leatherman or bad. I am indifferent. I have no, like me, I'm just genuinely giving my thoughts when I'm unboxing something, and I can feel good work, you know, when I open it up. And I can tell if something's done well and is done with care. And obviously there was a lot of little nitpicks, right? Now, I think the guy that's going to buy this for their one and only tool, a lot of them are not going to be that big of an issue. Because they're not gonna really care about little details, you know, like say, you know, the backspace or how it didn't line up perfectly. No, the machining's off right there. The action, right there, the action is a slow rolling action. Yeah, it's not a, well, you can also just, you know, flick it over because it does have a good flick actually. But if you squeeze it, you know, the thing won't drop. So you have to lightly do it, which is something that could annoy a guy that loves action. But the guys who are probably going to be buying this are not going to care. They're just going to close it. They don't care about drop shuttiness or anything like that. They care about whether or not it's going to lock and then unlock and close. So, you know, I'm, you know, as much as I love action and everything, and that's why I kind of went in on that a lot, because I know knife guys are really going to care about that. And yeah, D10's light, right? D10's light. The lockup seems to be very solid, very, very solid lockup. I do like what they did with the lock and how they kind of built an internal detent into a compression lock in a way. And the actual metal piece that wedges in between the blade and the liner is free, right? Like, so you, like when you take the knife apart, it'll just pop right off. Like there's nothing screwing it in, nothing holding it in. Same thing with the liner. It's kind of wedged and pinned, which is a cool concept. It's super easy to take apart and put back together. Very, very, very easy. Like one of the easiest. And, you know, that goes to show, you know, maybe the machining is done pretty well. You know, if everything slaps back together really nice, I didn't have to sit there and fumble with centering or anything like that. But again, yes, there's a lot of little details that are easy to call out as I did, but it's just, you know, one after another. If you're watching the video, it's a long video. It's like a 30-minute video I did. So I guess if you only watch the first part, it might seem like I'm glossing over some things or not really calling it as hard as I should. But I thought I did fine, but that's why I said in the beginning, because I knew it was probably going to go like that. That's why I said in the beginning of the video, please watch to the very end, because you know, sometimes I have an opinion in the beginning, then I change it going to the end. Sometimes when I'm editing, I'll cut that out and then, you know, make a response so that you guys know. But sometimes it's just, you got to watch to the end, right? But I know a lot of people were thinking that I was kind of being soft on them and I wasn't holding them to their product as much as I maybe should have. And maybe in some ways you're right. I don't, you know, I didn't feel that way, but you know, I genuinely do want these USA companies to do well. I genuinely do want to see them, you know, do I mean, like a lot of people said, nobody asked for this. I get it. Nobody really asked for it, but I still like to see, you know, companies like this create products for us, you know, and be even possibly manufacturers for other companies and other products and stuff like we need in the USA. So I do want them to thrive. I want them to do well. But that's not to the extent of which I'm going to lie about the product or anything. Obviously not. But like I said, I have no reason to. Me wanting, and I'm not even like, I don't even have, I have like 2 Leatherman. Like, I don't even think I have 2. I think I have one Leatherman. So it's not like I have a ton of Leatherman. Yeah, growing up, I've had a bunch of them, you know, working construction and stuff, but it's not like Leatherman is like filled in my collection. I have a ton of them, and I have no reason to like or dislike them. I like that they're USA made. I love their multi-tools. I think they do a good job on their multi-tools, even though I have a lot more affordable ones from other companies that tend to work, you know, just as good. But since it's USA made, that's another reason why I like it. I do prefer USA made products if they're done well. The problem is a lot of USA companies are not, they're doing good work, but they're not doing good work compared to some other companies. Some companies are able to do things so well that we do get a little spoiled. And sometimes they're able to do it so well for such a good price. I know a lot of people were saying they should have just made it in Taiwan or something like that. They could have kept the price down. And maybe that's true. Maybe they should have. But when companies are doing such incredible work in certain ways, that doesn't mean that, I mean, not saying they don't know or do know. I don't know what Leatherman knows. But as people, for people that handle a lot of stuff, a lot of knives, you get to feel all that stuff. You get to feel the differences and see the difference, see how these grinds are so good, like they're so even, this and that. And then you see another company, and possibly it's an American company, and you're like, man, these grinds are horrible, right? Like they never match, their edges are always crappy. And yeah, I see that stuff too, and that's why I typically call it out. It seems like the past, like this year alone, I've called out numerous American companies for doing horrible edges and horrible heat treatments and just soft heat treatments, horrible edges. And, you know, yeah, we need to hold their feet to the fire, and otherwise they'll never change, you know. And I'm not going to sit there and say that something's great if it's not, even though I want them to do well. But yeah, I think it's difficult when you're the viewer watching, you know, to have an understanding. And it's like anytime somebody tries to say something good about something, they always go to, oh, he's paid or this or that. And it's like, yeah, it's just crazy. I have, at this point in the channel, right? At this point is, you know, large as the channel's gotten and this and that, I have no reason to make one particular company like me or not. And because since, you know, starting the channel all the way till now, I've pissed off a lot of companies. And then also a lot of companies have become friends with me. And even though I've said negative things, and it's a good relationship because they send me stuff because they actually want to know the truth and they want to be able to fix it and make things different. But you know, there's no reason why, or no even ability for a company to get me to say something positive or negative about any product. It's just not even possible. There's nothing they can offer me or give me. It's just not like, if you guys understood that, you know, the channel is large enough that if I don't need one of those companies, right? Like if one company stops sending me products or doesn't like me, okay, so be it, right? It's not that big of a deal. And that's a loss on them, in my opinion, because then they are not getting to the audience, you guys, and then also they don't get to hear the genuine opinion to see if they can maybe fix it or, you know, upgrade it or whatever, because that's what companies should do. They should take these criticisms and write them down and try to change them. And a lot of companies do. Tons of companies do. For example, Tactile, USA company. I called out the plunge grind on their Archer. Within a few days, they sent me a picture saying our new plunge grinds are like this, right? They instantly fixed it. And to me, that's awesome, man. That's so awesome because it makes me, you know, happy to call things out because I know they're going to actually take them seriously. But, you know, there's no reason why, or no, even ability for a company to get me to say something positive or negative about any product. It's just not even possible. There's nothing they can offer me or give me. There's nothing they can really, you know, offer me or give me. It's just not even possible. But yeah, I think it's difficult when you're the viewer watching, you know, to have an understanding. And it's like anytime somebody tries to say something good about something, you know, But yeah, anyways, I just wanted to address this. I know I'm sitting there rambling, but it's like, you know, sometimes those comments, man, they can really, you know, cut you deep when you see so many people like disappointed in your video, thinking that you're glossing over stuff, thinking that you're not mentioning things or not making it seem as bad as it is. And it's not that, I'm just talking as I'm viewing and as I'm thinking. And in the end, you know, I came to those conclusions that yes, I think it's overpriced. I think there's something off with the heat treatment. I don't like that they still have burrs on them, and I don't like that the burr was so difficult to remove. Yes, the action, when you squeeze it, it's not just going to drop. So that, I'm not sure if that's their pivot system. That I'm guessing that's what it is, because since this part doesn't have, it has a post, but yeah, I'm guessing it has something to do with that, and the fact that the stop pin is connected to the scale. So either way, you know, you can have really good action, but if you squeeze it, it won't. So that, you know, that is a negative. And then all the other little details, you know, that I mentioned in the video, you know, make it to where it's like, yeah, for this much money, I do expect, not perfect, but I expect the knife to be very, very, very well done, near perfect. At the very least, I expect a good heat treatment. The very least, regardless of the edge, right? And I know people were mad because I was saying it wasn't they're not a sharpening company. I'm basically saying that my expectations for an edge are much higher than probably theirs, and I've noticed this on their multi-tools and stuff. I've never really seen a Leatherman with a good edge, right? Maybe I have, maybe I haven't, but they're typically not the best edges. So, and maybe that's because of the heat treatments, I don't know. But what I do, because everybody, once you get your knife, you're gonna wind up putting your own edge on, at least you should, you know, and that's the way I look at it. Like, I'm going to put my own edge on it regardless, but its ability to take an edge is what makes me most upset, if the heat treatment's compromised. But I guess, you know, time will tell. I'm going to sharpen it up and I will see. But yeah, guys, don't think I'm being soft on any company. You know, it's just me having my genuine opinion, and it becomes tough when a knife does actually feel really good and you actually do like it and you like a lot of things about it. But then there's these other things that are making you not, right? Like, so it's just tough sometimes, you know, when you like a product, but then there's these, you know, glaring things that are screaming at you, and, you know, maybe one of them isn't an issue, but altogether it winds up becoming an issue and winds up becoming not worth the money. So there you guys go. Hopefully you guys understand where I'm coming from. Work hard, stay tough. Till next time, peace.